Does the sheer volume of stuff in your home leave you feeling overwhelmed, stressed, and broke? If the simple act of coming home every day makes your blood pressure spike, it may be time to embrace the age-old principles of minimalism and simple living. By paring down your belongings to only what you truly need, you can declutter your space, your mind, and even escape the trap of endless consumption and racking up credit card debt. In this video, we'll explore 15 telltale signs that you own too much stuff, and also provide practical tips for adopting a more minimalist, frugal living approach towards a cleaner and more financially sound life. And you'll find that they come back to the same foundation, embracing minimalism and a simple life over mindless accumulation, so that you own your possessions, and not the other way around. Number 1. Closet chaos. Let's start with an obvious one. Your closets are so jam-packed, you can barely cram another shirt or pair of shoes inside without triggering an avalanche of chaos. Just the thought of trying to squeeze in one more item fills you with dread. You find yourself constantly rearranging and reorganizing, but within weeks, the closets descend back into a jumbled, overwhelming mess. Does this resonate with your daily life? If so, the clutter is likely a major source of stress and frustration. In fact, a study by UCLA found that household clutter can increase cortisol levels and negatively impact mental health. An easy way to start your own closet declutter exercise is to try the reverse hanger trick. Hang all your clothes one way and only switch hangers once you've actually worn that item. After 6 months, donate anything still facing the wrong direction. Those are pieces you clearly don't need or use. Number 2. Endless clutter. Take a look around your living spaces. Do you see piles of random stuff accumulating on any available surface? Tables, floors, and even stairs seem to get buried under an ever-growing mountain of clutter and disarray. You may even stay away from certain rooms altogether just to avoid the stressful vibe created by all that visual chaos. But the opposite is true. Your home should feel like an oasis, a comfortable, calming environment you can fully relax in, not one that's overstuffed and makes you anxious. Have you heard the often quoted statistic that the average American home contains a staggering 300,000 items? No wonder everything feels so cramped. A good first step to cut the clutter is to set aside 15 minutes per day to declutter one area. Have separate boxes for selling, donating, and discarding as you go. Over time, you'll regain control and can actually utilize spaces for their intended purpose, not just begrudgingly storing accumulated junk. Number 3. Losing essentials. How often do you find yourself desperately hunting for something important, only to discover hours later that it was just buried under a pile of clutter? Maybe you frequently lose track of keys, wallets, documents, or tools because they disappear into your belongings. Or you rebuy things like batteries or phone chargers since you can't locate the original. Not only is this incredibly frustrating, but it's also a huge waste of time and money. In fact, one survey found that Americans spend a whopping 2.5 days per year on average searching for misplaced items. Over a lifetime, that amounts to months of your life wasted. The solution? Designate a specific home spot for daily essentials like keys and wallets. Use trays and baskets to corral smaller, loose items in one place. Before rebuying anything, do a comprehensive search of these designated areas first. Number 4. The storage unit trap. Speaking of losing things to clutter, how many of you currently pay monthly fees to rent storage units or parking containers solely to house belongings that no longer fit in your main home? If so, you're essentially flushing money down the drain just to bury your excess possessions elsewhere. According to one survey, nearly 1 in 14 American households rents off-site storage. At an average of about $90 per month, that amounts to over $1,000 squandered annually just for the privilege of keeping stuff you barely use or remember owning. A far better use of that money would be aggressively going through those storage units and finally parting ways with anything unnecessarily taking up space and devouring your income. Be brutally honest about what you actually still use and need. Everything else gets donated, recycled, or sold. Number 5. Buried bills. Have you ever missed paying an important bill or statement because it got hopelessly buried under a mountain of clutter and loose paper? This can potentially lead to racking up credit card debt via unpaid bills and late fees, service disruptions, and even dinged credit scores over time, all completely avoidable consequences. This tends to happen when you don't have an organized, clutter-free system for handling incoming mail and paperwork, and it's shockingly common. An earlier FTC study found 1 in 5 households had uncorrected errors on at least one major credit report. Mistakes from lost statements could very well be contributing to that. The solution is simple. Designate one highly visible, accessible spot like a counter tray for immediately placing bills, statements, and action-required mail when it arrives, and then schedule one recurring finances day per week to handle everything in that dedicated location. Number 6. Garage graveyard. Is your garage so crammed full of boxes, old furniture, and assorted junk that your car can't even park inside anymore? If so, one of your home's core functional spaces has been completely overrun by clutter. Garages are designed to be protective shelters for your vehicle, keeping it safe from the elements. But when it becomes an extension of your home's storage woes, you miss out on the key functionality you're paying for. Shockingly, a U.S. Department of Energy study found that a full 25% of people with 2-car garages don't have room to park any cars inside due to all the accumulated stuff. That's an incredible waste of your garage's purpose and value. To reclaim this space, dedicate a weekend to doing an aggressive garage cleanout. Ruthlessly sort items into keep, donate or sell, and discard piles. That way, every item is considered and evaluated, and it's a great way to continue on the minimalist home path. Number 7. Sentimental suffocation. Do you struggle to let go of possessions because you tend to imbue them with sentimental value, even if they no longer actively enrich your life through regular use? While it's understandable to cherish certain keepsakes, taking this to an extreme creates a domestic environment packed with excess stuff. Displaying sentimental items selectively can provide a positive boost, but when they devolve into being another form of clutter, the effect is reversed into a stressor. An easy way to curb this is to dedicate one small box or single area for storing your most meaningful possessions. For other sentimental items, take a photo to preserve the visual memory digitally, then let go physically. Ask yourself honestly, will having this object's dusty presence take up valuable space and cause chaos? Or does keeping the memory intact through other means provide the same warm feeling without any downsides? You may find that the answer is usually the latter. Number 8. Duplicates. How many times have you wasted money repurchasing something like batteries, light bulbs, or phone chargers, only to find the original buried somewhere in your clutter weeks or months later? Having duplicate items due to constantly misplacing originals is an incredibly wasteful use of money. Just imagine how much of that money could be saved without needing to clean around duplicates and excess clutter. An easy, frugal solution. Before mindlessly rebuying anything, do a thorough clutter hunt first to try locating the original. Better yet, keep a running list of items you tend to accidentally accumulate multiples of, so you're more conscious about not adding to the pile. It takes a bit of diligence, but culling the constant inflow of redundant stuff is key to maintaining an uncluttered, minimalist home. Number 9. It's tough to clean. Aside from just looking unsightly, having too much stuff strewn about can literally obstruct your ability to properly clean and maintain your living space. When floors are covered in stray belongings, trying to move furniture becomes a chore. Dusting and vacuuming get difficult as you have to constantly work around and pick up clutter first, before even beginning. In fact, clutter obstructing proper cleaning is a major contributor to unhealthy indoor air quality that can trigger respiratory and allergy issues. The easy fix. As part of your cleaning routine, first do a quick decluttering pass before you start. Have boxes or bins designated for trash, donations, and relocate stray items to their proper spots. That way, you can thoroughly access and clean all areas. Number 10. Countertop clutter. Go have a look at your kitchen. Do you see acres of open, clear counter space ready for easily prepping meals? Or is every flat surface buried under a dense, chaotic graveyard of assorted appliances, utensils, dishes, and miscellaneous clutter? Having an obstructed counter area isn't just unsightly and stressful, it's also a breeding ground for potential health hazards like bacteria, pests, and grease fires. Your kitchen is supposed to be a clean, functional space that encourages and facilitates healthy cooking habits, not a dumping ground for accumulated stuff. The fix is simple. Remove any duplicates, seldom used gadgets, or clutter from counter areas, storing those in cabinets or donating them if unused. Limit your countertops to your most frequently used, essential kitchen items only. A clear workspace is a staple of simple living. Number 11. Broken belongings. Scan your living areas. Do you have piles of broken furniture, damaged electronics or appliances, or other items being kept just in case you'll one day fix or find a use for them? While a frugal living approach is wise, there's a fine line between thrift and hoarding objects that no longer provide any value. In fact, research shows that up to 25% of living space in severely cluttered, hoarding homes eventually becomes completely unusable and cut off due to obstructions. You don't want your own home to devolve into that level of disarray. An easy rule of thumb: be ruthless about permanently removing any broken items you know you haven't used or repaired within the past calendar year. Find responsible recycling or disposal options rather than letting them fester. Number 12. Yearning for a bigger home. Have you found yourself idly daydreaming about moving into a bigger home purely because you feel like your current space just can't contain your ever-growing accumulation of stuff? While upgrading for legitimate needs like a growing family is understandable, wanting more space just to accommodate clutter creep is completely misguided. Not only would constantly acquiring more space to hoard things get exponentially expensive, but it also fails to address the core issue at hand. After all, research shows that for every 100 additional square feet of living space, the average U.S. home's price increases by over $20,000. Don't fall into this trap. Before even considering an upsize, do an extremely ruthless minimum cleanout first, only keeping items you absolutely love and use frequently. You may be stunned by how much usable square footage you instantly reclaim without needing to move at all. The solution lies in decluttering and paring down, not expanding endlessly. Number 13. Visitor embarrassment. Do you get a pang of anxiety or embarrassment when friends or family give impromptu notice that they'll be stopping by your place soon? If so, chances are it's because your home suffers from unsightly clutter that you know will look messy to outside eyes. And there could be a scientific basis for those feelings. Studies show even minor clutter and disorganization can reduce our cognitive functioning by overloading visual inputs. No wonder we get flustered and stressed, knowing others will get a first-hand look at our chaos. But there's an easy way to get ahead of this. Develop a routine home reset where you quickly tidy up visible areas first thing each morning before leaving the house. Have designated baskets or bins for swiftly sorting any straggling clutter out of sight. When your baseline is neat, impromptu visitors won't catch you off guard. Number 14. Resenting new stuff. Do you find yourself getting low-key annoyed or even resentful whenever a partner, roommate, or family member brings yet another new item into your shared living space? If that familiar feeling instantly arises upon seeing incoming objects, your current level of accumulated possessions has likely exceeded your home's capacity. In fact, research has shown that many married or cohabitating couples actively resent their partner's belongings contributing to the household clutter. That underlying tension is all too common. A smart solution is establishing a frugal, reasonable one-item in, one-item out policy for any new acquisitions. That keeps your home's spatial volume capped. You can also designate certain limited areas or rooms as total no-clutter zones, where nothing new is allowed to encroach. Number 15. Musty odors. Have you noticed any lingering musty or unpleasant odors pervading your home lately that just won't dissipate, even after cleaning? Similarly, do you constantly struggle with poor indoor air quality triggering allergy symptoms or respiratory issues no matter what you try? If so, the excessive clutter built up throughout your living space could likely be the root culprit. Indoor air can contain 2 to 5 times higher concentrations of particulate pollutants versus outside air, due to lack of circulation and ample surface areas for dust to accumulate. While running air purifiers can provide some temporary relief, the ultimate solution is reducing the sheer volume of crammed belongings that harbor and release those pollutants in the first place. Clear out clutter consistently, donate or discard porous surface items that attract dust, and prioritize hard surfaces over fabric where possible. You may be amazed at how much fresher your air quality becomes. Decluttering and simplifying your home is a great start down the financially minimalist path. And to take things to the next level, check out this video next for a month-by-month calendar of minimalist habits. You can start today to get you one step closer to financial freedom.